Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Logical Nonsense Podcast. We have Mr. Caden Walsh back on after a very solid week 5 of football. A lot of close games, a lot of weird games, a lot of weird comebacks, a lot of drama this week. And I can't wait to talk about it with Mr. Caden. Caden, how are we doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. Like we said, it's good football this weekend. We deserved it as fans. It's been a weird first couple weeks, but finally starting to get back into swing of things, I feel like.
Yes, a lot of drama this week. Both our teams won. I like week 5. We can both sit here, be happy on opposite sides of the mic for once. I love it. Well, let's start with what we just watched, a Monday Night Football game, Chiefs versus Saints. Chiefs finally saw this offense kind of cook a little bit. Rate the game.
Overall, Mediterranean for a game,
Yeah.
but it started off promising. I'd
Yeah.
say this is the best we've seen the Chiefs look offensively
Yeah.
all season. It was funny. I was thinking about this today. All of last year, we were like, how does Kelsey get open? Why are we letting him get open? And this is the first time I think we can say that this year.
Yeah.
Why are we leaving Kelsey wide open? 9 catches. It looked like he was back to form. Looked like they're trying to get him involved more offensively.
Yeah.
We thought the run game might take a step back a little bit this week, or the passing game a little bit with injuries to the Chiefs. They still played well. The Saints, they've came back down to reality after the first 2 weeks where we were like, oh, is this a serious team? Derek Carr gets injured. He hasn't looked as good as he did the first 2 weeks. So I think
Yeah.
this is kind of a balancing game for both teams, back to what we expected them to be like now.
Totally good point. Patrick Mahomes had a great game tonight. He didn't even have any passing touchdowns, but I still thought he actually looked good. Chiefs struggled a little bit in the red zone, which, might be a concern. We'll get to them later, but the 49ers, it's definitely a concern. But Juju Smith, are you back?
Yeah.
Big game for him. Travis is back. Kareem Hunt is back. This team is like the nostalgic Chiefs of like different eras. You got
Yeah.
Juju coming back. You got Kareem Hunt coming back. Cole had a few good plays there. The Saints, on the other hand, they got to get. I don't know what they need to do, but they got to get back to their old offense because they just have not clicked like they were the first 2 weeks. This is what I thought the Saints were going to be this year, like you said. So I think this was definitely a Mediterranean game. It looks promising. I gotta say though, play of the night has got to be that big man with the pick. Oh my god, I thought he was
Smooth.
going all the way. My god,
Smooth. Love
yeah,
big guy interceptions. He
he was
was moving them.
hauling, man.
Yeah.
He was hauling, and the funny thing is, he should have kneeled. He should
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that's what you're
I don't
supposed to do, but he's like, nah, I'm
Nope.
taking it.
Nope. Yeah.
Probably got on the sideline. Coaches are like, don't ever do that again.
Yeah. But coach, it's the only one I'm probably ever gonna get.
Yeah.
Give that man
No
some air.
kidding. No kidding. All right, well, let's go to our next game. A game that you've probably been waiting to talk about. Cowboys versus Steelers. We get the rain delay. Fans are waiting,
Yeah.
listening to more Sunday night football coverage than we probably wanted for a long time. We
Yep.
finally get in action. Rate the game.
Starting off, our rain delay. Jason Garrett, I hate him as a coach. I hate him as a pregame guy, dude. I can't stand him. He's so annoying, Mr. Clapp. But it was a Mediterranean game overall.
Yeah.
Even with the ending that we had, I mean,
Yeah.
it's 6-3 at halftime. The Cowboys had 3 possessions in the red zone and only had 3 points to show for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of turnovers. It was nice to see Rico Dowdle get involved
Yeah.
in the run game. Finally got over 50 yards rushing in a game, which was nice to see. Dak, the first ever quarterback to throw
I was just about to say that.
interception
God
in
damn
2
you. Beat me
separate
to
days.
it.
Yep, threw
Beat
one
me
on
to it.
Sunday night and Monday morning. He didn't look good, to be honest. I mean, he got the plays downfield, but a lot of ill-advised turnovers.
Yep.
But when it mattered most, as much as you want to talk, smack on Dak, he delivered on the last play of the game.
Drive, yeah.
The Tolbert had a great game for the Cowboys. He's a good receiver option that we haven't really seen much this year.
Yeah.
He's quick, so it was good to see him get involved. And when the Cowboys were on the 3-yard line, I was like, I've seen this story too many times. We lose this game, and we fumbled when we were half a yard away. And I was like, oh, there
Yeah,
it
I
is.
know.
Dak gets on it, and he delivered. So it's a good
Yeah,
win. Really good Steelers defensive team.
I was
This is
gonna
the first
say,
their
yeah.
offense didn't look completely solid the whole game. Justin
Yep.
Fields had a couple woes, but it's a chippy game. It's Cowboys Steelers, so it was fun overall. Good ending, but mid-level football if you think
I
about it.
I agree with that. I'm also gonna go Mediterranean. It was kind of a weird game, just in the fact that there were so many like turnovers and field goals, and like it just felt like very. I don't know. It's like the best way to describe it is like when you like. It's like a song when you hear that song that always like creeps up on the beat, but the beat never drops.
Yeah.
That's what this game felt like. Like, it felt like there was gonna be magic, but there really wasn't. I guess the only beat drop we got was at the end with
Mhm.
Dak leading the team down the way, but both picks were they weren't great, but I don't know, Dak gets a lot of hate. I think Dak does a lot more for this
Mhm.
Cowboys team than I think people give him credit for, and I think it's because he's on the Cowboys. I think if he's on a different team, I don't think he's getting as much hate. I'm not saying he's perfect by any means, but Dak is a very good quarterback.
Mhm.
Like, people need to start putting him in a higher realm because he truly has played really good last year, and I think he's continuing that even when I think CeeDee Lamb doesn't have
Mhm.
the best of games. He continues to find other guys and get the ball to them. Jalen Tolbert, I had very little clue who that man was before the season, and now I definitely know his name, and I think he's getting guys involved, and that's really cool to see. So, the Steelers, on the other hand, I do want to bring this up. Is it time for the conversation? Is it time for the Justin Fields and Russell Wilson conversation?
I'm gonna say no. I think Justin Fields is your guy through 5 weeks. I think he's played solid. I don't think you need to switch up. I just think there's just too many little mistakes there. I don't think it was Justin Fields' fault
Yeah,
mostly. I think the Cowboys actually played a good defensive game without Micah Parsons, without D Law.
true,
So you still got to give them a couple, more opportunities. They were one play away there from being 4-1 through 5 weeks with Fields. So
true. Yeah, no, it's interesting because last week I actually think Fields had his best performance that he has had all year, and they lost. And this week they lose again, and I don't even know if he played bad. It just wasn't his best
yeah.
performance. It was very average performance for Fields. But I did want to pose a question because obviously every week that's a conversation that gets brought up. I don't know if I'm ready to make the change, even though I've lost 2 games in a row, but it is a question for sure. How do you think Russ is feeling?
He's he's
Because
probably ready.
I notice every time they bring him up, they always bring up that he's still dealing with the calf injury, so they're
Mhm.
not making that decision yet.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm him, I'm getting paid 30 million by another team to sit there and watch,
That's
and
fair.
so I don't really.
That's fair. Shut the
Either
fuck
way, you
up.
swing
That's
it.
fair. That's fair. All right. Well, thanks for making me remember that.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next game. A very fun game. At least I had fun watching it. Giants Seahawks. I'm gonna go grab your popcorn. I know that might be surprising. I should go Mediterranean here because honestly, most of the game was very Mediterranean. The Seahawks couldn't run the ball worth shit, which has been their DNA this season. Watching Kenneth Walker run all over teams, watching I'm blanking on who their backup is right now.
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet, thank you. Zach Charbonnet, he's been running on guys. They couldn't. Geno Smith was their leading rusher in this game. 72 yards. Kenneth Walker had 19 yards this game. This rushing, they didn't run the ball that much either. That was what, like, when they had 7 total carries between their 2 running backs. And that's what I don't get about this game is like, that's what you're good at. So it makes sense to me. Danny Dimes, look, I'm not going to say he's good,
Mhm.
but he's been looking good
Mhm.
the last 2 weeks, the last several weeks, and I'm starting to wonder if he's better than what we thought he was, or if this is just Danny Dimes baiting us again into thinking that he's a good quarterback. Whatever it be, the Giants are 2 and 3, and I didn't think that was going to be possible. So good for the Giants. That blocked field goal at the end was ridiculous.
Mhm.
I'm expecting this to be because that would have tied it.
Mhm.
That would have tied the
Yeah.
game. Yeah, you're right. That would have tied the game,
It would've-
and they just dagger right in
I
the
know.
heart. Love it. Was it legal though? Do you think it
Mhm.
was legal?
I don't know. That's all I've been seeing on on X is you're not allowed to pull the long snapper down, and they did to get that that seam up the middle, but it didn't get called, so it's not a penalty. So fair play. It's the good old Goff treatment, right? Did the ref call it?
I saw that interview.
No,
That interview was fucking
the
funny.
ref didn't call it.
I'm gonna start saying that
Yeah.
like for everything now.
uh,
What would you rate the game though?
I think it was Mediterranean overall,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna give my popcorn to the Giants here, though. They're flowers. They deserve it. I think they've really switched their game plan the last 2 weeks,
yeah,
especially. They're slowing it down. They're playing
totally.
low possession football games. They're flying the ball in defense. And if you're a Seahawks fan, this is almost an inexcusable loss. Last week against the Lions, your offense came out. It was a good loss, if that makes sense. Like your defense
Yep.
didn't play good, but your offense proved that they're a caliber
Yeah.
offense. And in
Yep.
this game, no Malik Neighbors, injured Singletary. Giants team should not be scoring
Yep.
that much on you. And
Yep.
this is a winnable game and a must-win game in a tight NFC this year. And 2 weeks ago I said they were legit. After the Lions game, I still thought that they're pretty legit. But after this
Yeah, I was gonna bring
one,
that up too.
I'm not. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. But hopefully they right the ship and get back to their run game. But good one for the Giants with those injuries too.
Yeah, I think this was a dagger for the Seahawks momentum because
Mm.
last game they looked. I still thought good against the Lions. The Lions just had a fucking Goff literally
Yeah,
had a
perfect
perfect
game.
game.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat that. Like the Lions just played their asses off last week and looked like a Super Bowl contender. So I was like, okay, maybe the Seahawks are better than I thought. And then they played like this, which is what I saw in week 1 against the Broncos in that first half. So that's the type of shit where I'm like, okay, this team to me is just inconsistent, which isn't uncommon in football. Like that's not, like
Yeah.
people have bad games, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the
Yeah.
Seahawks team. We'll see. I think I'm less confident in them after this game for sure. All right, let's go to our next game to the Packers versus the Rams. Rate the game.
Mhm. I don't really think it was a shit show. I'll go Mediterranean. I'll elevate it to that just because it was pretty close at the end, close first half.
Came
But
down to last possession.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, the Rams are like the best of the bad teams in the
Fuck you.
NFL.
Fuck you. You can't make this shit up. You
Bro,
cannot make this shit
I
up.
like
I had that fucking question written down on my notes right here. Are the Rams I cannot make that
no fuck.
fucking shit up. Oh my god.
Holy
Go
God.
ahead.
If
Sorry.
okay, fuck. Well, read the script. I got the script apparently before this one, but they just hang in games, man. That's just the Stafford way to do it. That's just the McVay way to do it.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance to win games at the end, and they do
Yeah.
that with no Cooper Cup, no Puka Nakua, and they had chances in the first half to extend a lead, and then they go
Yeah.
down. Tucker Kraft, great game for the Packers.
Yeah.
He was like really their kind of only offense. It seemed like.
Yeah.
This is just smash mouth football both ways, and the Rams get a touchdown at the end, and they get a chance, and they just barely fall short. But this is just a slugfest, kind of one of those games.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, I literally had that written down on my on my on my notes here. But I think the Rams are that's just their DNA. They're just not gonna quit. I think the question Rams need to ask themselves is it worth it going with Matt Stafford for the rest of his career? Obviously, he's 36, and they're 1-4. Yes, they fight in every game, and yes, technically they still could make the playoffs. Do I think that's feasible without Cooper Cup or Puka Nakua? I don't know. I don't know what to do if I'm the Rams here because, like, do you go get a quarterback next year? Like, do you get a quarterback in the draft?
I think Yes, maybe not this year, but maybe I don't know. Is
It's tough,
Yeah, it
man.
is tough
Do
because
you
you have
rebuild? Like, I don't know
I
what
don't
to
know.
do if I'm this
You
team. They're in
have
a very middle
no,
ground for me.
because you have the receiver, you have the running back talent to support you for years. Like you got a
Yeah.
young weapons. Do you
Yep.
trade for a quarterback? Yeah, or do you
I don't
draft
know.
and pray? I don't know, but I don't think the Rams should sell this season yet, or like they even think that way because they're only 2 games back early
Yep.
to the Seahawks,
Yep.
right? They're right on the Niners' tail. A couple results go the other way. They're right in that division, so it's gonna be a hard fought division. I think maybe just keep fighting a couple weeks and then you can weigh your
Make
options
that
for what you want
decision.
to do.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. This was a much needed on the opposite side. This was a much needed win in my opinion for the Packers. They needed this one. Love got it done. The Packers got it done. It wasn't their greatest performance this year, but they got it done. Um, I mean, not this was kind of a very average football game for me. As much as I hyped this week up, we're kind of starting off with like not the
Yeah,
fun games in my opinion, but it came down to last possession. The Rams had a chance there. The Packers defense stood tall, and I'll be curious to see how this Packers team moves going forward because I think there's a lot of tests they have. They almost came back on the Vikings last week. They almost gave up this one. I feel like there's a lot of almost with this team. So we'll see how they do going forward. But Mediterranean C for me as well on this one. All right, let's go to our next one. Kyler Murray. Uh-oh. Don't ever discount this man. Call of Duty sponsored Cardinals versus Niners. This was a shit show for the Niners. They should have won this game. They made it to the red zone 6 times in this game and only had 1 touchdown to show for it. That is terrible. And the reason they have 23 points because they have was it a blocked punt? Was that what it was?
yeah.
Blocked punt by Lenore, who got it
Hmm.
returned all the way back. It's not good. I know that Christian McCaffrey is still out, but they've got to figure out a way to score in the red zone. It's just not good. They let the Cardinals hang in this game. They should have. They were in control pretty much all this game. They should have won. They didn't score after half.
Oh,
Straight up, they didn't score after half. Um, I don't know if I'm you know what? I'll say I think I'm pressing panic button just a tad bit if I'm the Niners. They gotta figure it out offensively, even defensively. They keep choking games. They keep losing to teams they're not supposed to lose to. You're 2-3 right now.
mhm.
It's not good.
Oh, yeah, you went shit show for the Niners. I'll go grab your popcorn for the Cards then,
Okay,
because
okay.
they fought hard, and for the Niners, this is almost exactly reminiscent of what happened to the Rams a couple weeks
Yeah.
back. You man, big lead, you're winning the whole way, and then all of a sudden
Yep.
you just lose. But some dumb thing back against the Rams, it was a couple drop passes.
Yep.
This game, it was a fumble in the red zone right at the end. Like
Yep.
that's, I mean, you could put on a lot more than that, but that was a killer.
Yep.
And the Cards, they stuck with it. They're a scrappy team, like we said, they always will be. They're
Yeah.
competitive. And yeah, Niners, it shows how much they miss McCaffrey. This is the first time I think where I'm like, okay, they need McCaffrey
No, they
back
do.
bad,
This
like
this offense is
bad.
just not the same without
No,
him.
even the Ayuk had a good game finally,
Yeah.
first time all year, and the other weapons just,
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
yeah, couldn't produce the output they needed. Juwan Jennings didn't really have a good game.
Debo, where were you?
Debo, yeah, Debo started with like 2 catches right away and just over from there. And for the Niners also, I think it shows that they shouldn't have given CMC as many touches as they did last year. Because
Yeah.
Mason can run the ball. Like he's proven that he can be that guy, and he should have been
Totally.
that guy to take off,
Totally.
10 carries a game for McCaffrey instead of McCaffrey getting 30, 40 touches a game down to,
Yeah.
20, 25. And maybe he's healthy this year. You ran him into the ground last year, and this is kind of the repercussions of that if you're a Niners fan. So I'm
Yeah.
pressing the panic button also for the Niners.
Yeah. Question for you.
Yeah.
Is Kyler Murray the best quarterback on a bad team? The only other person I can
Mhm.
think of right now is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I like Stafford too a lot
Stafford
on
too.
the
That's a good
Rams.
one. Stafford's a good one.
Flacco, I don't know if the Colts are a bad team. I just love Flacco, but
Oh,
he's.
who would you say though?
I think Matt Stafford's still the best. He's still proven
Matty
the
Ice.
best.
Okay, not Matty Ice.
Uh,
Matt Stafford. Let's
yeah,
give our props to Matt Ryan. My bad.
yeah.
My bad. Okay. Okay. Matt Stafford. I like that answer. All right. Let's go to our next game. Let's go to Panthers versus Bears. Rate the game, Cade.
Fuck.
Your favorite.
I'm torn between shit show and Mediterranean because the Panthers are back to reality, and the Bears are finding their identity. I'll go Mediterranean because the Bears look good this game. I'll give them their flowers too. It's nice to have Keenan Allen back. It's nice to take that pressure off of Dunze. The O-line looked solid this game, and we're seeing a Swift that we didn't see the first 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks, Swift has been amazing for this Bears team, and that is a huge difference maker because it takes so much pressure off Caleb Williams, who anyone that wrote him out after the first 2 weeks should apologize because he's played solid the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
And the Bears defense, we knew they'd keep them in games, and this is a real testament to them when they play a lower team that they can go out and dominate and handle a team.
Completely.
And for the Panthers, I think you gave up on Bryce Young maybe a little too early now that we've seen, Dalton play a couple games. It's always interesting when a new quarterback comes in. They usually play solid the first week or 2 or 3, like when they come in because no one's used to it.
Yeah.
You've seen it a lot. And then teams figure out how to play against them, and then it's almost like back to reality for the bad team. So good game for the Bears. Panthers, I don't know what you do from here. I think you just let Bryce Young stick it out another season. Personally, I don't think you're going to be competitive, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good call. I'm actually going to go shit show here, even though I think Caleb Williams is progressively getting better. He looks more confident. He's finally finding his targets. As you said, Swift is finding his groove, which is good to see because I really didn't like the Swift hate. I knew he was a good back. I don't know if this offense just figured out like how to work with a bad offensive line. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they just started playing bad teams, but regardless of what it is, this team is now 3-2. This is about where I thought they could or would be. And he's finding DJ Moore, which is good, really good. I'm happy to see Caleb Williams. I'm not even a Caleb Williams fan, but I'm just kind of tired of like everyone trying to call him a bust at this point. Like it's kind of getting old. So it's nice to see him play well and people not have a negative connotation towards Caleb Williams for once. Panthers, sell the team. I don't know, man. This is bad. This is yeah. You have a pick this year. Just use it, please. Which is also kind of a slap in the face that the pick that Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams,
you see that guy
DJ
with the
Moore.
Sign? It was like, we received this, and you receive, and it's just fucking like 20 players for one. Bryce Young for 20. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, Bears won that trade. Bears definitely won that trade. Also, the Bears defense is legit, very good. It's a top defense in the league right now. Let's go to our next game: the Bills versus the Texans. I can go first if you want.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go grab your popcorn, and it's in a very weird, obscure way. It wasn't good football by any means. The Texans side of it, when I look back at this game, they started off so hot. The moment momentum flipped on offense was when Nico Collins went down. This offense struggled ever since he went down. You saw CJ Stroud throw a very unlike him pick. We saw CJ Stroud fumble late in the game. Defense, I mean, they went up 14-3 very quickly. And going into half 14-6, I'm like, oh God, this could get ugly. Then the Texans kind of shit the bed. The Bills kind of come back. Poor fucking Josh Allen, man. The amount of dropped passes in this game was nuts. Absolutely nuts. People are going to look at that 9 for 30 and be like, oh my God, Josh Allen is so overrated, bro. this MVP chant, this guy that everyone thinks should be the MVP, he's so overrated. No. Go fucking watch the tape before you open your goddamn mouth and tell me how many of those incompletions were drops, because I guarantee it was at least half of them. It was awful. There were so many drops in this game. I hated it how many drops there was in this game. So they gotta figure out some better weapons, something. It's kind of funny because this comes like a week after the Stephon Diggs, like, oh, he never needed
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs and all that. And now this
Yeah.
comes out. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, I
This
know,
is
right?
just great timing because now he's playing Stephon Diggs. But Texans figured it out. Also, Sean McDermott, what are we doing?
Bro.
All we need to do is force this game into overtime. That's all we needed
Yeah,
to
I
do.
know.
You're backed up on your goal line. You know it's not the smart time to pass. Why the fuck are we passing? And not even short passes, deep passes. It's one
Yeah.
thing to pass. It's another thing to make stupid fucking passes.
Mhm.
Why are we trying to push the ball downfield at the end of the game when it's tied?
Yeah.
Beats me, man. Grab your popcorn just for the drama alone.
Yeah. That clock management is why it is a Mediterranean to shit show for me, because it was horrible football, and this is the second time I think we've seen CJ Stroud this season kind of get flustered in a game.
Yeah.
We saw it against the Vikings, and we saw it here when it started slipping away, and
Yep.
you're not comfortable anymore. Things happen, but at the end of the day, the Texans did find a way to win, so I don't want to discredit Stroud too much. They got
Yep.
it done. But for the Bills, the first 3 weeks, you're like, they don't need a wide receiver one. They're sharing the ball all
Yeah.
around. Cook's playing great. Last 2 weeks, teams have locked down Cook a little bit, make Allen beat them with the arm, and then you got players that are just, like you said, butterfingers. They grabbed their popcorn before the game. They couldn't catch anything. And I understand maybe one of those deep shots, they think you're running, you do a little play action, go for a deep bomb, but after that, you run the ball, you get this thing to
Yes.
overtime.
Yes.
You're not going 96 yards in
No.
that short of time. Like
No.
even getting a field goal range, it's just hard because the Texans defense, they're quick, they're athletic.
Yep.
I think you get that to OT and then you give Allen more field to work with and win it that way. And they didn't. And the Bills, they dropped 2 in a row. I'm not worried for them, but maybe you do go hunting for another receiver or something to help out Josh Allen, because this is the
I think
first
there's
time.
a guy on the market. His name might be Devontae Adams.
Weird.
I don't know.
Crazy.
Might be a good guy, huh?
Yeah, we'll see. But
Yeah, you have anything else? Sorry.
Nope. That's about it for me. I'm not worried if I'm Bills though.
Neither am I. Honestly, it was a weird game, and a lot of people are shitting on this Bills team now after their first 3 weeks. They looked great, and now they've struggled the last 2 games. I'm still not worried. Josh Allen is still doing Josh Allen things. The receivers are going to come around eventually. Shakir wasn't even in this game, which I think people forgot about. He's a big target for Josh Allen, so when he's back, I think they'll be fine, and maybe they do go chop. So hoping to see that. Guy I want to highlight on the Texans that has been just flying around all year long. Al-Shahir or Al-Sha'ir. I don't know how you say his last name. Dude, he had 2 drop picks in this game, but my God, he's just everywhere on the field. Like he's just fun man to watch. He's scary too. He kind of brings that old school football back. Just want to shout him out. Let's go to our next game. All right, we'll talk about it. I can talk about it now. Broncos versus Raiders, baby. The Broncos are fucking back, baby. I'll say it. We're
Is that
back.
a winning record I hear for the
That's
Broncos
a fucking
through
winner
5?
record, baby. Through 5 games, 3-2. Look, we went up. Vegas is up 10-0 on us. About to score again. I'm like, me, man. You've got to be shitting me. 10-3, I think, was actually a score. PS2, 100-yard pick 6. Had 2 picks this game. This defense is all over the place. Completely changed the momentum with that 100-yard pick 6. The offense finally clicked. Bo Nix finally played good. We shit on him last week on this podcast, so he played good. You know how it works here. When we shit on someone, they play good the next game. He had a good game. Javonte Williams finally played decent in this game. I was happy. I was very happy. Is this the end of the Minshew magic? He did get he got sad. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know either,
Grab your
man.
popcorn
Yeah, for
by
you.
me,
Oh,
by the
yeah,
way.
absolutely. Mediterranean for me because,
Yeah.
like you were saying, through the first couple drives, it was like, oh, fuck, this is the Raiders. They play great one week, they play shit the next week. I'm like, oh, this is their great week because they're just moving it at will. They're about
Yep.
to go up 17-3, and then train off the track, wheels off the train, whatever you want to say. It
Yeah.
was over for them just like that on one play because they lost all momentum and the Broncos just controlled this game the rest of
Yeah.
the way at will. Their defense is elite this year.
Yeah.
We keep saying they're good. I'll bump them up to elite because they're fun to watch. They're all
Yep.
over the place. They're hard hitting. And this is good for a Broncos team that, everyone's like, oh, they're coming into the season just defeated. Now they got some life and a little bit of fire. And, the Chargers beat the Chiefs last week. They're only a game back in their division, but unfortunately, they didn't. But it's good to see for Broncos fans and for Raiders fans. I don't know what you do. Half your team wants to leave. It's just kind of a mess now already.
Yeah. Devontae Adams conveniently had an
Yeah.
injury.
Yep. Weird.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Right after he just requested for a trade. That's weird. I'm trying to think of anything else that I can bring up about this game. I mean, this Broncos team surprised me a little bit, but I also don't want to have hope. I don't know.
True.
Just gonna let it
Yeah,
ride.
just enjoy it. Just have fun while it's here.
Yep. I'm just gonna have fun. We play the Chargers next week.
Winnable.
Very winnable game. If we can shut down that run game, Chargers don't have very much life because Harbaugh doesn't really throw the ball. So we'll see. Gonna be knocking on wood on that one.
Yep.
But all right, let's go to our next game. Jaden Daniels MVP campaign.
Fuck.
Are you on it?
I'm on the train. I don't know if I'm on the MVP train right now, but I'm definitely I'm hanging on. I'm watching to see where it goes because this is fun football we got in DC right now. This is a fun team, and
Very
god damn
fun
it,
team.
Dan Quinn, why couldn't you been the Cowboys head coach? Because you're so good at coaching and developing players and finding what you need to do to make a team succeed.
Yep.
And man, they just score. They
Yeah.
just score. Terry McLaurin has been unleashed. Ryan
Yep.
Thomas has been unleashed.
Yep.
They're fun to watch. And for the Browns, it's time. Deshaun Watson's got to go, man. He quit on them, even though they were getting smoked.
Yeah.
Even as much you want to say, and he didn't quit. Like the coaches are saying, he quit. He walked off. They didn't want to go for it on that fourth down. The Browns are done, man, which sucks. I thought they were going to be a solid team.
I did too.
And
too.
defense can't do this much all the time. They're on the field 95% of
was
the
gonna
game.
say.
It seems like
I was gonna say I don't
as
even think
good
their
as they
defense
are,
is
man.
bad. Yeah.
And they would have liked a guy named Joe Flacco right now. I think I don't know about that. Like we say that every week. I don't know how many chances you can give Deshaun Watson, but this was grab your popcorn for the Commanders. Just a shit show for the Browns. Throw it in the middle, Mediterranean.
Yeah, this was one of two blowouts this week, one of which we already talked about. I'll give it a Mediterranean as well. I think it's fun to watch Jaden Daniels do what he's been doing, man. I thought he'd be a solid player in the league. I didn't expect this. As much as credit as we should give to Dan Quinn, we should also give to Cliff Kingsbury because I think a lot of people quit on Cliff Kingsbury, and I think those two together are just making this offense click in a very fun way. I'm gonna be honest, Kate. Are you scared of this Commanders team?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this
I
team
think
is scary.
as a Cowboys fan, I think I'm happy with the split right now against them because you got to put up points right now to beat them, and their
Yes.
defense is underrated. They're holding teams,
Yeah.
down. They're winning handedly every week right now. It seems like they're 4-1,
Yeah.
and
Very
they're leading
true.
the division. They're going to be a tough out for most teams.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. I think they're averaging the most points in the league right now. For a while it was Saints, but Commanders, my God, man, they just know how to run an offense. I don't know how else to say it. Like they just do. And they've got a three-headed dragon at running back right now.
Yeah.
Eckler, McNichols, and Robinson.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got Jaden Daniels who can run the ball too.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you do?
That's fucking nasty, man. And he can throw it?
Yep.
God damn, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, they're unleashing this offense. It's fun to watch. They've got a lot more weapons than I thought they would. Defense is looking solid. Frankie Louvu, WSU product, looking good too. So, yes, sir. All right. Commies, watch out. Colts versus Jags. After I gave a lot of shit to Mr. Trevor Lawrence, look who came to play. T-Law, I know you're a fan of the show. You can come on whenever you like. Plead your case for being top 3 paid in the league.
Grab your popcorn. This one was fun.
Yeah.
You know, you got old Joe Flacco balling. They got no Jonathan Taylor. So it's got to be, an air raid out there. Mike Leach would have been proud watching him sling that ball, because it was a fun game. Both teams were throwing it. Tank Bigsby, have yourself a day, buddy.
Yeah.
And, sucks that the Colts lost this one. I feel like for them is it felt like the Jaguars were dead. Jaguars, do they get a little bit of life here? They're still only 1-4, but it's a much needed win for them. I still think Peterson's on the hot seat. I still think
I did too.
Yeah, I still think, Lawrence, having a good game is still a questionable quarterback, but it's a much needed win. It's a much fun game. That fourth quarter was just score after score after score after score.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. Deep shots all day. It was fun.
I'm also gonna go grab your popcorn. It was fun. I really enjoyed how much offense was played. Not much defense, but it was fun. I liked seeing Brian Thomas be unleashed. He's been playing out of his mind. Tank Bigsby. There's a lot of big plays in this game, which I think is fun to watch. Trevor Lawrence finally played what I thought he could play, but he hasn't been in the last 2 years. Doug Peterson saved his job for at least another week, so congrats. I'm proud of you. The Colts, it's unfortunate they lost. As you know, I'm a Colt. I don't know why, but I'm a Colts lover. I don't know why. They're frisky as always. I thought they could have won this game. They didn't. Jags were pretty much in control of this game throughout, though. I will say that they had some late game heroics by the Colts, but they pulled it off. They finally clutched up and won a game, which is unusual for the Jags because they usually choke these kinds of games. It sucks for the Colts. They haven't won this game in 10 years, which is kind of mind blowing to me that through all this time the Colts still haven't beat the Jags in 10 years, but they don't do it. All right, let's go to our next game. Ravens versus Bengals.
Game of the year so far.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely it was. This was some elite quarterback play on both ends.
Goodness.
You got, quarterbacks dribbling defenders off of them, just throwing a video game. This is a video game in real life. Everyone was involved everywhere. It was fun. It was high pace. You just didn't know who was going to win the whole time. It was just gut punch after gut punch.
Yeah.
Back and forth. It was awesome. And the Bengals had to play this way too. They had to play scrappy. They needed a win in this game. And then right at the end, you get the fumble, you get it in OT, you're in Raven territory, and you run the ball 3 times in a row, and you settle for a field goal that you miss. Absolute, gut-wrenching for the Bengals in a must-win game. It felt like there, and they had it. And the Ravens go down, and they get their own field goal for the win. Derrick Henry does a Derrick Henry thing, breaks off a big one right at the end. But man, it was fun. This is an awesome game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Game of the year. Grab your popcorn. This was my favorite game of the day. This is one I could not quit watching. because both quarterbacks were just fucking impressive this game. The defense for the Bengals is still a concern, but I don't want to talk about that yet. Lamar Jackson, this was a game where I believed in the hype of Lamar
Mhm,
Jackson. What he did in this game was fucking nuts. And to go on the opposite side, this was a game where I believed in the hype of Joe Burrow too.
mhm,
He willed this team. When they have both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase healthy, this team is so freaking dangerous. It's actually insane. They should have won this game, and that's the
mhm,
crazy part. Lamar played as good as he did, and the Bengals
mhm.
were in control this entire game
True.
until the end. They tie it up. It goes into overtime. You're like, wow, what the hell is going to happen? Lamar fumbles. You're like, oh my God, the Ravens choked.
Yeah.
Bengals get it back, as you said, run the ball 3 times, miss the field goal. Derrick Henry. Did you drop your crown, King? Because here it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That man's just a beast. Like
Mhm.
oh, don't even get me started on Derrick. I think a lot of people thought his career was done for, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
revived in
yeah.
Baltimore. It's revived. He is so back. I love this game.
Mhm.
Give me grab your popcorn, as I already said. So
I think for the Ravens, it's kind of a weird new identity defensively for them because they're used to, just smoking teams on defense and just winning
yeah,
without. And now they're getting a little bit higher scoring games this year.
yeah,
But
they kind of have to. Yeah,
yeah, they're in kind of a bend don't break defense though. Like you said, they get the stops,
secondary.
they get they get an interception though, like right when they need it though, or a fumble.
Yeah,
But
true.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a little bit concerning for Ravens. They've also had an absolutely abysmal start, like schedule wise, to this season. Chiefs,
Oh,
Cowboys, Bengals, Bills, Raiders, and then they lose to the Raiders. Right? They're 3-2
yeah,
on
they
their
lost
losses
to
to the
the
Raiders.
Raiders.
Like, which is still puzzling to me. Up by 10 in the fourth, but now we'll get to see the Ravens. Hopefully, they don't get hopefully get some easier games for
Yeah,
them. But for
yeah,
the Bengals, you're sitting at 1-4 now. But you do have a little bit of life if your offense can keep playing like this, man.
they
You got to
have
make it
to.
one. You
I
have
think
to.
they
Yep.
have to at this point
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this defense hasn't shown to me that they can really stop anyone.
Mhm.
The closest, yeah, they have to. That's just the name of the game. They have
Yeah.
to. In London, Jets versus Vikes. I can go first on this one.
Mhm.
This was a Mediterranean game for me. Um, Vikings defense. A few weeks ago, Cade, we were on the podcast. I said the Steelers had the best defense. I'm
Mhm.
changing my answer. Give me the Vikings. I think their schemes right now, the way they're playing defense, the way they're attacking the quarterback, getting pressure to the quarterback, forcing turnovers, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts because they're beating teams that are really good. They're making QBs like Aaron Rodgers look fucking terrible. This team's legit. Sam Darnold finally had a game that maybe looked like Sam Darnold, right? Maybe looked like what we're used to seeing from Sam Darnold. Jets low key should have won this game. Kind of choked it. Um, Aaron Rodgers misses a throw near the end of the game. It was like a double move by Garrett Wilson. Then at the end, throws it up to Mike Williams, throws it straight into Stephon Gilmore's hand for another pick. 3 picks in this game. Aaron Rodgers is kind of looking back to the
Yeah.
2022 Aaron Rodgers of the Packers right now. And I don't think that's a good news for the New York Jets.
No, I think this game is kind of a shit show. For me, granted, I forgot that it started at 7 a.m. and I missed like the first quarter and a half. But I mean, yeah, like the Vikings defense made Rodgers look horrible, and the Vikings offensively, Aaron Jones goes out in the end of the first quarter,
Yep.
and their offense kind of just looked pretty rough this game, to be honest. Darnold had a pick that gave the Jets life,
Yeah.
and the Jets have a chance at the end. And you're used to Aaron Rodgers going down that game-winning drive. You're just used to him doing that through all his years with the Packers, but that didn't
Yep.
happen this game. Vikings are 5-0,
Yep.
and they're a scary team at that defense.
Yeah.
But it's just overall, I didn't really think it was that good of football both ways, but good defense in the Vikings. Jets defense held their own. I don't know if really they played good or the Vikings just played poorly offensively this game, or just a mix of both.
A little bit of mix of both. I do think this Vikings defense
I
is legit. I mean, every team has been talking about it. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers didn't say shit because he's a little arrogant, little prick. But
crawling, man, crawling on the sideline,
crawling back to his cave. But no, yeah, I mean, Vikings undefeated. Did not see that coming going into this year, but they'll have some decisions to make next season with Darnold and JJ McCarthy. If Darnold plays good for the rest of the year, we'll see. We'll see. Great first 4 weeks. This week, kind of maybe back to normal, but last game of the week, very fun game of the week. Bucks versus Falcons, Thursday Night Football. You can rate the game.
Yeah, grab your popcorn.
Yes, sir.
No, it's always a treat when a Thursday night game delivers, because usually they're just two poor teams playing against each other, and so I don't really want to watch this too much. But they gave us a rivalry. They gave us Kirk on primetime in October when he shines and he remembers that he is an elite quarterback at times when he wants to be. That man's had 500 passing yards.
Yeah.
And the Falcons shouldn't have won this game.
No.
Let's be honest.
No, they shouldn't.
It was back and forth blows, but the whole game, Baker looked comfortable. The Bucks looked comfortable on offense, and it was felt like their game just to go out and control and win. It being close still, and then they had their chances to put it away. They get the interception. They're driving, and they fumble the ball, and they give comeback Kurt life, and he gets him in field goal range, and they get it to OT, and it's just over, just like that. And a game the Bucks controlled and should have won, and they just let it slip. And the Bucks are killing themselves for not being 4-1 right now. But it was fun. This was an awesome game.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. This is totally grab your popcorn. Kirko Chains, swag surfing in primetime? Are you kidding me? 500 yards, 4 TDs. It's crazy because if you just looked at the QBs, 500 yards to 180 yards, I would have thought this was a blowout. But no, the Bucks, like you said, should have won this game. If it wasn't for that Bucking Irving fumble late in the game, I think the Bucks win this. Granted, Falcons, Young Ho Koo, what the hell happened, man? Missed field goal, uncharacteristic. Blocked field goal, uncharacteristic. Kind of crazy. This game, there was just a lot of dramatics, a lot of fun to this game. I think both quarterbacks continue to play good on both sides. I finally saw the Falcons offense do something I've been wanting them to do all year long. Kirk is an air raid QB. Let him sling it. Thank you. I know that these receivers aren't the greatest, but God damn it, they looked good tonight. Fuck yeah, Kirk. Give your guy the balls. I love this style of offense by the Falcons. They need to get to this every game.
I agree. Mooney, shout out Mooney, man. He had that one drop, which was killer in the moment. But besides that, he played an elite game. They got Kyle Pitts involved finally, which was good to see. The only downside for the Falcons is they kept giving it to Algier. At the end of the game.
I didn't understand that.
I don't know what they got against the man, but they were not giving it to him. And Algier, got carries, right at the end, but they still won. They still found a way. And that's like a 3 wins for the Falcons this year, comeback. So maybe they want to be losing.
All 3 of their wins, I don't understand how. Like they just find a way to win. So not the way I thought the Falcons would be this year, but they're tough. They're a tough team, and I think Kirk brings an edge to this team that they didn't have before. So, all right, well, let's go to our fun part of the week. Week 5 MVPs. Start with your player.
I think we just said it right there.
Yes, sir.
Kirko Chains. Get that man his flowers. 500 for white guy swag surfing in Atlanta. You love to see it.
Yes,
It was hype.
sir.
It was awesome. Easy MVP this week for me.
Yeah, my MVP also goes to Kirk. I don't know how you
Yeah.
could give it to anyone else. He played an outstanding game, won in prime time, won a game that I think is huge for them
Yeah.
for sure. Huge for their confidence. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
NFL Week 5 MVP team.
Just gonna roll with the Commanders, man. They're rolling. I'm rolling with them. They're fun to watch. As much as I don't like them as a rival, they're fun to watch this year.
Okay. This is biased. I'm gonna give it a Broncos.
Yeah.
We're rolling right now. 3 straight.
Mm.
Did not expect this. This team finally looked like an all-together team. They played a really solid game across, especially after they got past the first quarter.
Yep.
I think this was, I know it's the Raiders who are an up and down team, but we played solid on both sides of the ball, and I really enjoyed watching that, and I think they're surprising a lot of people right now. So that is my Week 5 MVP.
Yeah.
Hottest seat. Who's on it?
Man, you still want to say Doug Peterson, right? Because I think he should be gone still, regardless of the win. I'm just gonna stick there. I still think
Doug
his seat's the
Peterson,
hottest.
okay.
Yeah.
My hottest seat. Zach Taylor. 1-4. Last year they go down early, don't make the playoffs. I think you're on the hottest seat. It's been a while since you've been back to those playoffs. Continue to lose close games. Lost against the Chiefs, lost against the Ravens, they lost against the Commanders. All games I think they could have possibly won. I think he's on the hottest seat right now. All right, let's go to our rapid fire picks for week 6. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. 49ers versus Seahawks on Thursday night prime time.
This is a must win for the Niners. I'll go with them.
Seconded. Give me the Niners. 6:30 in London. Jags Bears.
The Bears, they roll.
Look, I think this is an automatic. I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't want to pick them. The Jags don't lose in London. Give me the Jags.
That's true. It's their home away from home.
Cards, Packers.
I'm gonna go with the Cards. I think they roll. Give me upset Cards.
Okay. I'll go with the Packers. It's at home. I'll go with the Packers.
Yeah.
Colts, Titans.
Blacko. Colts bounce back.
Woo! Give me the Colts. You know I like them.
Yeah.
Texans, Patriots.
Yeah. Texans.
Give me the Texans. Bucks, Saints.
Bucks.
I'm also going to go with the Bucks. I think they need that one too. Browns, Eagles.
God, the Browns always play the Eagles tough, and I don't know if I believe the Eagles, but I will go with the Eagles still, just because of Deshaun.
Yeah, give me the Eagles.
Yeah.
Commanders, Ravens.
Ooh,
what
never mind,
game.
Ravens. I'm sorry, you don't get an
What
easy
a
game. You don't get an easy game, but fuck. I'm gonna give it to the Ravens. Lamar's this MVP battle right here. Week 6.
battle.
Why not? Give me the Ravens.
Oh God, this might be my upset of the week. I'm gonna go with the Commanders, commies. They're legit. Give me them. Steelers, Raiders.
Steelers.
Okay. I'll go with the Steelers too. I don't know why I thought about that one. Lions, Cowboys.
We got to play all the good teams at home, man. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Lions. Falcons, Panthers.
Falcons.
Give me the Falcons. Bengals, Giants.
It's a must win. I'll go Bengals.
I will also go Bengals. I forgot about this game. Sorry. Chargers, Broncos.
Foe.
Broncos. Foe, brother. Foe. Give me the Broncos. Let's ride, baby. Bills versus Jets on prime time.
Bills got to get a win. Get that trend
Bills,
rolling again.
I agree. Bills must win over the Jets. That is rapid fire picks. Caden, Thank you
Yes,
for coming
sir.
on. It was a great week in the NFL. You got anything left to say for this
One
week?
thing, we missed one game,
No, we didn't.
but it was the worst game of the week with
Oh
the
my God,
Patriots and
Dolphins,
the
Patriots.
Dolphins. Shit show, terrible, awful.
Yeah,
What are the
that's
Dolphins
why we
doing?
forgot about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just all pro. I thought Huntley was all pro for 1 year when he was with Baltimore. Now it's just you gotta let him loose. Quit babying him. Let him go. If you're gonna lose, at least go all out. But they won by like half a heel, and
Yeah, no, that
the
was a shit
Patriots are
show.
bad. It was terrible.
I literally said my comment for that game is biggest shit show, question
Yeah,
mark.
terrible.
I hated that game. I hated that it was, and the worst part is we gotta watch it again because they're division
Yeah,
rivals. So, yeah, that was awful. Alright, anything else?
nope. That was-
Alright, well, thank you. I'm actually gonna hop into my hip hop
There you
segment of the podcast, so if you're still listening, make sure to tune around for that. But Caden, appreciate you hopping on, brother.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Good when our
Alright,
teams win.
make sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000. We're at about 440 right now. We're
Yes, sir.
getting there. We're getting there. So appreciate y'all, and thank you for listening to the Logical Nonsense Podcast. All right, and to finish off the show, I just wanted to give you guys 2 album reviews. The first one, Mixtape Pluto by Future, and the second one, Coyote by Tommy Richman. Both are very interesting albums that I enjoyed. I guess Mixtape Pluto is technically a mixtape, so I'll judge it as such. But I did want to deliver both of you as those were pretty large releases. Starting off with Mixtape Pluto, overall thoughts before I get into my logic method of rating. I thought this album was very Future. Shout out to him. He's dropped 3 albums this year. 2 with Metro Boomin, 1 by himself. I think this was his worst work of the 3. I don't think it's bad work, but I think it feels like a lot of throwaway for me. I think there's better execution by Future. Overall, I think this album is just kind of meh. And some might come to me and say, well, it's a mixtape, bro. Like, it's not supposed to be conceptually advanced or whatever. But I think there's a lot to improve on. He doesn't really care about lyrics at all during this. You can tell there's a lot of cringy lyrics. There's a lot of experimentation, but I'll get into that. Starting with lyrics, like I said, it's not lyrically complex. It's definitely a mixtape. It definitely feels like he's kind of saying whatever the fuck he wants. Lyrics also, in my opinion, just aren't Future's strength. I don't go to Future's music to listen to lyrics, especially because a lot of his lyrics are more so talking about drug abuse, maybe a lot of toxicity within his lyrics, which can be fun in terms of storytelling, but we didn't really get a ton of that. There were some cringy bars on this. I think there was some songs like "Lost My Dog." That song I thought was actually touching, and is a highlight in terms of lyricism and what Future can do with the pen. But overall, this album just wasn't very deep. It wasn't meant to be deep. So I'm gonna rate this a 5.2 out of 10 in terms of lyricism on this album. Going to on point production, consistent trap beats. It's not my favorite production that he has had of the 3 albums. I think Metro actually did a better job than this album was executed, but of course, there's going to be good future production on this. There was plenty of hits, in my opinion, where we saw good production. Was there some bad production too? I don't know if bad's the right word, but it was very average. I think Surfing a Tsunami is one that a lot of people liked and a lot of people love the experimentation with. I didn't necessarily. Experimentation is definitely a huge thing in this mixtape, and I think this was kind of Future's way of testing the waters with this album. I'm gonna try different things. Plutowski, which has gotten a ton of feedback. Obviously, a lot of people hating with the weird moaning that he does in that song, but I think that's his way of testing the waters, seeing what people like before he drops another album. Future is kind of at the point he's kind of reached a point, in my opinion, where he's so big that he can kind of do what he wants and it's still gonna sell. He's on the Billboard Top 100 list. There's like almost all of his songs are on that right now. still, which is kind of nuts because this is supposed to be a mixtape. And I think that's because he's had so much success this past year. But Surfing Tsunami, going back to that, I didn't finish my train of thought there. I didn't like it. I thought it was too layered. I thought it was too experimental. A lot of people liked it. I thought it was too distracting, but overall, I think the trap beats are fun. There's some highlights in this album that I think really hit home with me, and the production I really enjoy. But overall, I enjoyed production on his other projects this year more. Going to Glorious Flows, I think this was probably the greatest strength on this album, in my opinion, is the flows. Um, his wide range of melodies, his flows, his performances, even if they're weird, even when the voices were weird, I think it kind of shows like he does have versatility because I think we kind of think of Future as this one single boat, but he actually does have a lot of more versatility than I think people give him credit for. Like he can be melodic, he can be more of that laid back tone, but then we also get tracks where with like Ski where we see this fast-paced trap that we're used to hearing at a trap rap artist, and that's the future where I think like, wow, like he does have a lot of talent. So, one of the most diverse individuals in my opinion in the trap game. So I gonna give this an 8.3 out of 10 for flows. Going to immediate hits, I think this project was very solid. Like I said, it was very strong, but I think there won't be any iconic songs from this album. There won't be. I think the most iconic song is going to be in a bad way. I think Plutowski is going to be the most iconic song, and it's because people are like, "What the fuck is this?" I don't think there's gonna be a song off this where we're like, it's not a future album, in my opinion, we're gonna be like, we had Like That, we had Red Leather, right? Like those were two iconic songs off of both those albums that we heard, right? I don't think there's gonna be one of those songs off of this album. And going back to any of his albums, you can pretty much always pick that iconic hit song. I don't think there was that. Do I think there were a bunch of misses off this album? I think there were misses. I don't think there was a bunch of misses. So, overall, in terms of hits, he did a solid job, but it wasn't his greatest work. 7 out of 10. Going to content matter, as I said, there's some really good highs and some really bad lows. I enjoyed this project. However, I thought it fell short to We Don't Trust You or even We Still Don't Trust You. As I've mentioned before, it's cool that he has produced 3 solid projects, and at a high level, but I wish I could say they're all at the same execution. I think it's been a steady decline, unfortunately. So 7.3 out of 10 for this, for an overall score of 7.2 out of 10. Going to our next album, I have Coyote by Tommy Richman. Kind of anticipated, especially after Tommy Richman and announced that he was not going to be putting Million Dollar Baby or Devil Is a Lie on this album. A lot of people get credit for their singles popping off and doing well on those albums, and he went against the grain. He did not get that credit for his sales, and so I think it was good to see that, and see what he values. I think Tommy Richman is talented. He has a lot of untapped potential, in my opinion. Overall, I thought this album was fun to listen to. It was an enjoyable listen, in my opinion. Um, Lyrics, we'll start there. Tommy talks through a lot of emotions after his heartbreak, and it's actually a lyrically more complex album than I think a lot of people realize. Um, could he have done a little bit better of execution, maybe making his lyrics a bit more clear for the audience? Possibly. But overall, I think there were solid lyrics. There was nothing that was super, super bad. Of course, you're gonna get your cringy bars in there, but um, I think the album was solid. I think the most cool and complex song to me, it was ending the album with a song that makes you feel eerily empty. I thought that was really cool. I think the lyrics um are something that people would need to dig deeper in this album to understand, but when you do understand them, they're pretty solid. So I'll give it a 7.1 out of 10. For on point production, I think there was a lot of upbeat 80s influence in this. And I think it's almost like this vintage meets modern kind of thing. He really infused a lot of modern trap and production into an 80s feel, a lot of funk, a lot of pop. It's very enjoyable production in my opinion. I actually found it to be really cool. The way he uses the influences of 80s pop music and funk to really do that. It almost brings this like rock, laid back R&B feel to it, and I really like it. We saw snippets of that. I can even hear the Brent Faiyaz in this album as well. I enjoy the production. I thought it did well. Do I think there's improvements? Yes, there's definitely times where I thought it either one got repetitive or two wasn't my favorite. So I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 on this. Glorious flows. I think this is something he could improve on. At times, it feels like Tommy kind of uses the same voice. There were other times where we saw him on a more laid back song, such as Green Therapy, where we see him be more laid back. But overall, we hear this consistently high pace. I thought you were the one. That one is awful. That is a terrible, terrible tone, in my opinion. And he just continues to repeat that over and over again. But overall, I mean, this album was pretty solid. I mean, I would like to see more versatility from Tommy Richman in terms of flows, melodies, voice fluctuations. I just think there's more there, and he's not really showing it. He kind of gives me this cross between a wannabe Michael Jackson and a Hall and Oates. At times it can be great, and at other times it can be really bad. So 6.6 out of 10. Immediate hits. It's an interesting album. After going viral, you're expecting another one of those iconic hits. For me, I love Whitney. I think Whitney is freaking incredible off this album. It's underappreciated off this album. I don't think it's getting that viral hit that either one of those two songs, A Million Dollar Baby or Devil is a Lie is, but I think it's incredible. But overall, there's not like a ton of hits. Like it's pretty quiet in terms of hits. So I'm gonna give it a 6.8 out of 10. Content matter, it's not, I think for a lot of people, I think it was underwhelming. For me, it was about what I expected. And I liked it. I think it's an underrated album. I think Tommy is kind of setting a foundation to work on. He's not setting the expectations high. And I think that'll be good for his career. It's fun, it's funky, it's got a modern twist to it. Um, I enjoyed this album. 7.5 out of 10 in terms of content matter for an overall score of 7.1. As always, make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. We are on the road to 1,000. Make sure to like, make sure to stay logical, rant that nonsense.